Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Keeping It Chaotic podcast. My name is Ava.
And my name is Cheyenne, and we have the case of the gigglies right now. I have no idea why. So excuse us. But today, I don't really even know what we're talking about today. Do you wanna elaborate?
Sure. Basically, just about we had planned this episode during the time that COVID had just turned 4 years old. So we're gonna just talk about our experience with the the pandemic and the lockdown and everything like that. Because I think we both had a lot going on during that time. A lot changed for us during that period of time. So yeah, I just thought it would be are you okay? I just thought it would be fun to kind of go back and talk about that because it has been 4 years, which is so insane.
Yeah, I feel like there has been no concept of time since 2020. When everyone says oh yeah, 2016 was 4 or 5 years ago, it's no, it was literally how many years ago? 8 years ago at this point. It's so crazy. The concept of time has just been warped because of 2020 alone. It was just a reset for everybody. So
Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump right into it, kind of tell our individual sides and experiences that we had during that time. I was a junior in high school, and obviously March 13th was a day that I feel like everyone remembers very vividly. It was a Friday, which is creepy, but we got sent home that day. It was actually really weird because during our break during the school day, we weren't allowed to sit inside in the cafeteria unless we were sitting down. And it was just that day for some reason because of COVID or whatever. It had just started. I don't even know why that was a thing. I guess just because it was too crowded in there. But that's where me and all of my friends hung out. So we weren't allowed to go in there and just stand around and visit with our friends, which no one ever usually sat down in there. It was just a bunch of people in there standing up. Obviously the cafeteria lines were in there, so it didn't really make any sense. But I just thought of that right now because that was really weird. But yeah, they announced that it was going to be a 2-week spring break, which everyone was like, hell yeah, we're getting an extra week of spring break. We're going to be back, and then we're just going to finish school, and it's going to be so exciting. Obviously that did not happen. We never came back to school. And my last semester of junior year, half of that was cut short, which honestly, I feel like the only reason that it hurt for me was because I've mentioned before that I was on dance team, and the seniors that were the year above me during that time, I was so close to, and dancing with them for that final few months of the year was always a really special time because we got to dance with the seniors for the last time, and it was a whole production that we put on, and we never got to do that because of COVID.
during that time, I truly don't remember a lot. At that time I was not in school. I was currently still working at Disney. I used to work in downtown Disney at a restaurant there. And I had been there for almost, I guess 3.5 years at that point. Yeah, but we were told we're gonna close for a week. Everything is gonna be closed for the week, to we were told it was going to be the not a lockdown, was it? Why can't I think of the word?
I don't know. I couldn't think of the word either earlier, and I was like, "Oh, what am I saying?"
We are quarantine.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they were yeah, because everyone needs to quarantine for that specific week for whatever reason. So that was what was told to us. Everyone is gonna quarantine for a week. And we would be paid for that week or whatever for the time off if we were scheduled. And we were like, okay, cool, you know, no problem. We got for work sick, love that. But funny enough, like that was March, obviously, of 2020. But we had done this event every December for Breakfast with Santa. So people would pay to have like this huge breakfast. They got to meet Santa and like all these activities. And literally during it, we get so many tourists to Disneyland. Obviously, everyone from everywhere is traveling. We're all bound to get sick. I got extremely sick December of 2019, but I had just figured it's because everyone is coming from everywhere. There's kids everywhere. Like it was bound to happen. And that's basically what I thought it was until I woke up one day literally in a pool of my own sweat. I called my mom and was like, I need you to take me to the emergency room. I can't drive. She took me, they did a bunch of tests, and they were like, you're testing negative for the flu, but you know, you have all the symptoms, so we're just gonna like diagnose you with influenza A because we don't really like know what it is. Basically, just take like Tylenol for your fever. If you have any pain, take ibuprofen. And they sent me on my merry way, and I was like, okay. I was sick for like months, did not recover. And I remember like specifically, I don't remember when it was, maybe like early February. I was in the manager's office and one of the HR ladies was like, what is this like COVID-19? Have you heard anything about this coronavirus? And I was like, no idea what you're talking about. Cut to early March. Now it's like everywhere. And I was like, holy shit. Like I literally had COVID before it was like nationally like known as a thing, but like nobody knew about it. So we were just like out protecting ourselves. I don't know. We just like were so confused when everything was happening.
Yeah, I think I was also sick during that like same time period, and I do think to this day that a lot of people had it way before it was ever like announced or like broadcast. So yeah, I will say I definitely have a lot more notes about this than Cheyenne does.
I'm just kind of like feeding off of her and just remembering because I truly like don't remember much about this time period. So maybe like hearing her stories will kind of like.
Yeah, I think also because I was just like, obviously I was in school. We were just in like both like completely different periods of our lives, and it impacted us both a lot differently. So like just wanted to put that out there before we go any further because we have like two completely different sides of this right now. But basically for the remainder of my semester for junior year, the nice thing about it was that I didn't have to do any more work. If I did not want to, it was optional. Our district had announced that our grades would stay what they were. They were not allowed to go down. The only thing was that if we wanted to improve our grade, we could do this work that our teachers were assigning us if you wanted to improve your grade, to get it up to an A. I did choose to do that. I did a couple of assignments. Once I got it to a 90% in like these classes, I was like, that's it. I'm out. Time to go. So that was really nice. Obviously, the whole other situation was not nice. And yeah, we were out the rest of my junior year, which was, to this day, I feel like I was more disappointed that my junior year was cut short with the seniors from dance team that year rather than me never going back to school for my senior year. So I did never go back to my senior year. Oh my God, I literally cannot speak right now. I never went back to school for my senior year. And there was an option. The first semester, we were completely online. No one was allowed to go back to school. And then the second semester, there was an option for hybrid learning, but it was like twice a week, I think. And like, it was just weird. Like, the whole situation was weird. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. By that time, I was like completely checked out. And I was also babysitting two kids during school hours because their parents were teachers and they obviously had to take care of their students online teaching, and their kid was also in school, so like I had to kind of juggle both of those. And it was super easy to babysit those kids, and I was making money, and I was like, there's no chance I'm going back to school. Like, it's fine, nothing's happening. Like, it's gonna, like, the people that were in person doing the hybrid learning were like basically online. They were on their computers. So I was like, what's the point of even going back? Like, it just seems so pointless to me. The only time that I ever went back to school that year was for dance practice, and I mostly got out of that because I used the excuse that I didn't drive, so I didn't have a car to get there and I didn't have a ride. So I finessed my way out of that. But I was completely checked out of school by that time. I also only had 3 classes. I had 5 classes my senior year, but I only had 3 that were like curriculum classes. I literally was taking a government class, English, art. Oh, so I was really only taking 2 classes, to be honest with you. I had 2 art classes because one of them was a TA period. Yes, I TA'd online. I literally sat there and made PowerPoints for my art teacher. And then I had art, and I didn't really do any work in that class. I had government, and then I had English. And it's online work. It was so incredibly easy. I was like, this is such a breeze, senior year. And then I had dance class, and I half-assed that class because, again, I was babysitting, and I had like this small like room where I could dance. So I just how do you? It was just so
You can't really like do my like normal activities.
yeah, it was just so stupid, and I was like, why would I ever want to go back to school? I have like this is such a breeze right now, and just I was not into that.
Yeah, you know what? I wish that my senior year was that easy because it was not. And we had to do this whole stupid presentation in front of these like random principals and teachers. And if we didn't get to graduate. So that was not
Yeah,
fun.
that's another thing I got out of that.
Yeah, well, I don't even think they do it at my school anymore. So I'm kind of pissed off. So when my sister was a senior, I'm like, I'm going to do my own project for you and you're going to present it around blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was in a very different situation. Obviously, I was not going to school. I graduated in 2016, so way, way before all of this. But I was working pretty much full time. At the time that COVID hit, I was living with people that I just necessarily did not feel comfortable around. They just were like, they were my boyfriend's friends, and we had like all moved into this house, and I don't know, I just kind of felt like we didn't like have a lot of things to relate to. I just like avoided them and they avoided me. So it was tough like starting quarantine during that just because I was stuck in a house with people that just like did not make me feel particularly welcomed. So obviously, as I have stated before, I struggle with like mental health sometimes. So like that immediately put me in like a depressive state just because I was like, I'm literally stuck in this room. It wasn't even like I'm stuck in this house. I was stuck in this like tiny little room. The bed took up most of it. And I was just like, I am so like, I need to get out of here. But there was nowhere open. There was nothing I could do. I could like go for a walk, but it was like a small gated community, so it wasn't like much to walk around. And then where we were living was not a very safe space, so I couldn't like go outside of the community because it was highly crowded with homeless people. Like it was a mess. And then both of my grandparents at the time lived with my mom, and my mom just like didn't obviously want to risk them getting sick, which was understandable, so I couldn't go over there. So I just like was completely isolated. I had my boyfriend who, like helped a lot through it because he would just like try to find literally anything, any way to like get out of the house, and it helped. But then we also like were in the process of like discussing like wanting to start a family prior to COVID starting. And I was like, obviously, we need to get out of this house if like we want to do that. There's no way I'm bringing a baby home to this house. Like, it's just not doing that. And I think like I wasn't getting pregnant because I was so stressed out and I didn't want to bring a baby there. And I was like, we need to move out. Obviously during COVID, like everyone was trying to find some kind of business. So like apartments were a lot cheaper because they were just trying to get people to like move in. We happened to find an apartment, and literally within a month I was pregnant with our first daughter, and my entire life just completely changed during COVID. And it was just like the craziest time. And like I was obviously challenged with like my mental health as far as like feeling isolated, but I think like it was a blessing in disguise because I got to be home pretty much my entire pregnancy. And like they say like, oh, it's a COVID baby, it's a COVID baby, because like I think all the moms that were pregnant during that time just got to rest and just essentially like take care of themselves a lot more than, you know, the average woman having to go to work or go to school and do A, B, and C. And like we weren't doing that. So I think like, I don't know, the babies just like got more advanced somehow. I don't know. But it was crazy because I was told my entire life, like, you're probably not going to be able to have kids. And literally during COVID of all times, I got pregnant and had a baby. And I just like, it so blows my mind that I'm even a mom. And like, I don't know. I was also extremely sick my entire pregnancy. Like, I don't think I stopped having morning sickness, literally like all day sickness, until I was like 7-8 months pregnant. Like, I had lost 20 pounds before I even started gaining weight from the pregnancy because I was literally throwing up everything and it was miserable. So I think like I would have had to stop going to work anyways. So it like, you know, it all happened for a reason. And, you know, it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, obviously terrible things happening, unfortunately, to other people with being sick, but I was lucky enough to not, I don't think, have COVID since the initial, like, getting sick with it the first time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got pregnant during that time. People always joke like there was nothing else to do.
There's nothing else to do. Why not have a baby, you know? But what's like even crazier to me is that like there was so many like babies being born, but we still didn't beat like the baby boom of like the 40s, 50s, stuff like it's so crazy that there was even more babies back then. Like, you would think we would have beat them this time around, but no, we didn't. Damn it. Maybe next 100 years or whatever it is.
I think that's the only time it ever really hit me that my senior year was like completely just thrown away was one of the last few weeks of school. We had like a senior rally and we drove from like a park nearby to our school, and there was like a line of parents just like all down that little path that we went down. And me and a few friends drove through there, and right as we like pulled up to campus and we're like driving through the gates, my friend started just like blasting that one Hannah Montana song that's like, I always knew this day would come. And we all just started like crying. And I think we were all like, we fucking hate it here. Why are we crying? Like, we're so excited to just move on. But I think that was the only time that I was ever like, ah, damn it. Like, my senior year got just thrown away in one fell swoop. Yeah. And I think that, listen, the year before me, people that graduated in 2020 talk so much shit about how their senior year got cut short and like they didn't get any of the like activities and all that. I literally like 2021 literally did not go back to school like at all that year. We had no normal activities. At least for my school, we did have a normal graduation, but like we literally got nothing. Like, class of 2020, you guys got the short end of the stick as well. But like,
But I feel like the year was like almost done for them, right? Like
yeah,
March, April, May usually you finish, like they had 2 months left. So
yeah. So, you
yeah,
know,
2021 got the literal shit end of the stick with that one.
literally.
But I just feel like any kind of like senior year, like even for me, like I was like, I hate school, I hate everyone here, bunch of fake people, and I just like didn't have a. I don't want to say I didn't have a great high school experience because I did enjoy high school until I didn't, obviously, but I just think like regardless, like you get to senior year and you're just kind of like, damn, like that kind of flew by, like. And you don't like think it is once you start high school and you're a freshman, you're like, oh my God, 4 years is gonna take forever. But literally, like, I remember my first day of high school and I remember my last day of high school. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's a hard time because like you're like, oh my God, now what, you know? But I think like COVID definitely took away the experience of being a senior and doing the proms and the homecomings and senior rallies. Like we had all of that. And like my sister also, I think the middle of her freshman year, it was like she didn't experience high school at all. Like the only time that she went back when they finally reopened the school was her senior year. So she had done nothing until senior year. So I was like,
That's why she is the way she is.
she didn't get to experience high school the way that everyone did, But yeah.
Love you, Alina. Yeah, I mean, everyone got fucking just like the worst part of it. I think both class 2020 and class 2021. Obviously, I think 2021 got it worse because they literally missed out on everything, but teach their own, teach their own. Don't come at me, class of 2020, because I know you guys have strong opinions on that. Anytime you try to bring it up, they're like, "No, we got the shorter end of the stick." I'm like, "Whoa."
But I feel like the only thing that they truly missed out on was graduation. Like that whole ceremony, which like obviously sucks because like you work so hard to get to this moment and I get that. But like you did they get prom and all that stuff? I don't know. I wasn't in the
No, so it's funny because like 2 weeks before school just like shut down, I had went to buy my junior prom dress and I was like, fuck, I don't get to go to prom with my senior friends. Like this is the worst. Also because I had only been to one high school dance and that was my freshman year homecoming because it was no, not into that.
I didn't go to any of my dances until senior year because my mom was like, "Go, I didn't go to any, you're going to regret it." It was fine. It was fine. I probably cried the only I mean, like I've stated before, high school I had a very fucking toxic, terrible boyfriend. So like I didn't enjoy, I mean, he ruined my Sadie's, ruined my prom. The only dance that I like enjoyed was homecoming. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, my freshman year I went, and then sophomore year my brother was moving into college, so I had to go do that. Um and then junior year I had a ticket. And then I think I didn't have like a ride or something because my parents were out of town or something like that. And I was like, should I go? Should I not go? My friends were like, come, and like it's our last year, just come with us. And I was like, was so close to going, ended up being like, I'm just gonna stay home, have fun. You do you. Had my prom dress, was about to buy my prom ticket. Obviously didn't for junior year because everything just got shut down. I actually just gave my prom dress away because I've been holding on to it for literally no reason. It's just like it's just been in my closet. So yeah, that kind of sucked. But as far as like obviously my senior year, I stayed home. But during that time I was starting to make masks for my parents like colleagues. Like I was selling them and I was making a lot of money off of that. Um took out my sewing machine, started sewing a lot, and I fell in love with it. I had learned to sew like a few years prior to that. My hair keeps getting like stuck on the mic and it's like making me uncomfortable. And yeah, I picked it up as a hobby and I fell in love with it, and I got really into fashion and styling, and it became a really big part of my life. Also, it's important to mention that I had really no clue what I wanted to do after high school during this time because I had to go to school. There was never any option about not going. And growing up, like I always wanted to go to San Diego State. That was my dream school my whole life, and I wanted to be a teacher. But that didn't really happen, and as I was kind of in quarantine and in lockdown, like it just became more apparent to me that I did not love school and that was not something that I really wanted to do. But again, I had no option not to go.
Yeah, just to preface, both of Ava's parents are educators, teachers, along those lines. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why the whole
it's an important factor here. But yeah, it came to a point where like I really needed to figure out and I needed to start applying to schools and everything. And I just really did not know where I wanted to apply, what I wanted to do. Like I just had no clue whatsoever. And obviously I was spending like a lot of time on TikTok as like
oh yeah, TikTok was
popping off.
popping off in 20. I still like have those. If I hear the sounds, I'm like, oh my god, flashback.
Yeah, I can do every single dance. But yeah, I was spending so much time on TikTok and
just a loser.
shouldn't be with you. Guess I'm a quitter. But I found this girl named Kate Bartlett, and I literally love her so much. I'm still such a fan of her to this day. But I found out about like fashion schools and everything, which honestly beforehand I was like, obviously, I feel like if you're not into that, you don't know that that's a thing. So that's kind of what it was for me. I was like, what the hell is a fashion school, you know? So that was interesting to learn about, and I was like, I'm going to look into this, and I found a school and I was like, I'm just going to do this because I have to go and it's going to be whatever. I'm just going to try it out. And I honestly think that if COVID hadn't happened, ultimately it wouldn't have led up to me sitting here with Cheyenne. And that's like the bottom line of all of this, is that COVID truly changed my life in so many ways because, I found my love for fashion, and obviously LA is a great place to do all of that in. So when I moved to LA and that whole decision of wanting to go to fashion school kind of led up to me moving to LA and having that be my choice of residence, I guess, was very exciting, I think. And I definitely wouldn't have found that if it weren't for COVID. I genuinely do not know where I would have been school-wise, because I didn't even apply to San Diego State, which was crazy for me because like my whole life it was like, this is where I'm gonna go, this is where I'm gonna apply, no questions about it. Literally didn't even apply there. I applied to Cal State LA and Cal State Long Beach and got into Cal State LA, but it was for criminal justice, and I was like, nah. It was funny because I was going between like, I feel like my dream job, honestly, is to be a detective. Which I don't know if you know that about me.
I don't, but you want to hear something even crazier? When I was in high school and determining like if I wanted to go to school, what I wanted to do, one of the majors that I wanted to do was
Criminal justice.
Literally anything criminal. Well, I wanted to do like forensics specifically.
Okay.
I just was like so huge on all of that. I don't really like get freaked out about like, as fucked up as it sounds, like dead bodies and like crime scenes. Like it's so interesting to me, and like just it's so interesting how people's minds work and how one day you're perfectly fine and people just fucking snap the next, and you gotta like piece it together and figure it out. Like I was so like, I'm gonna do this. And honestly I don't know why I didn't, but I think it just like intimidated me. It is a very male dominant career also, and I think I took that into account when trying to figure out what to do with my life, because I also, so random from the criminal aspect of it, but I wanted to go to be a pastry chef as well, because I was like, oh my god, I love baking, and I was just like very into it. So I was like, oh my god, and it is also a very male dominated industry. So I mean, I guess every industry is, but yeah, particularly everything that I anticipated and wanting to do was very male dominant. So I think it just like discouraged me in that time. But I think like where I am now personally, like I just be like, I don't give a fuck. Like if I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. But
Yeah. It's funny because I did like extensive research on like anything criminal justice related jobs and like how to get them, and like deep dive into like how to become a detective, how to do this, how to do that. You have to be like a police officer for like 5 years before becoming a detective, I believe. And I was like, there's just absolutely no fucking way in hell I can actually do that. So let's just not even try. But in another life, I am a detective and I'm solving murders and I'm helping people. I don't even know why that's like
I am Criminal Minds somewhere.
that. I think, yeah, I honestly think it's because I grew up watching like shows like that. Dexter, if anyone has ever watched Dexter, one of my favorite shows of all time. I grew up watching that and it's such an amazing show. Um, but yeah, it's just like a random like career that I've just always wanted to do, I guess. Obviously, that did not happen. I'm like on the opposite spectrum here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously was pregnant during that time, and it was funny enough, literally I went to record. I used to have a YouTube channel. Obviously, have talked about that before. Link down below. But yeah, I was focusing on like rebranding it because it was a channel that I had with my old best friend at the time. We obviously weren't friends anymore, so I was like, okay, I still want to keep this channel. I still want to do this. I want to be creative. This is like the perfect time to just be home and like come up with video ideas. So I recorded a video basically saying like, I'm coming back. This is my plan. I changed it from the name it was previously to Life of Chey. And it was just going to be like, whatever videos I wanted to do, whatever I could think of just to keep me distracted from like having anxiety or being depressed or whatever. And literally posted that video, and like 2 days later, I think I found out that I was pregnant. So I was like, oh my gosh, cool. I can make like all these pregnancy videos. I can update. I had this huge plan and I literally could not get out of bed. The thought of water literally made me want to just throw up everywhere. It was miserable. And I swore I would never ever get pregnant again. And literally within a year, I had my second daughter. So that was funny on me. But that pregnancy was not anywhere near as bad as my first pregnancy. My first pregnancy was rough, sister. I think another thing that I struggled with immensely was not having concerts and not being able to go have an outlet to do something. I just feel like concerts are my happy place. Like if I am like having some kind of like breakdown or like, oh my god, where is my life going, or just like constantly stressed, I feel like concerts are the one thing that I like look forward to. And I feel like people don't understand that unless they do understand that and they get that. And I just feel like no concerts for 2 years, I think it was, like it it was a lot because I was like, I literally have nothing to look forward to. I have nothing to go do. And yeah, I think it was very, very tough on my mental health. But I just like tried to work through it, and I was like just trying to find different things to do. I got back into watching YouTube. I feel like YouTube kind of like started falling off a little bit, but I think ultimately COVID just like let everyone bring out content maybe that they wouldn't be making before. And I found a YouTuber called Tara Michelle, who I had never heard of prior. And I have watched her every week since 2020. Like, I think she was like living in LA, and then she decided to come back home to Canada with her family because she didn't want to be far from them. She ended up buying a house and completely like renovating it and just showing like day-to-day stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I love her so much. And like, I'm not normally someone that like comments on YouTube videos, but I would just like, I remember commenting one time and I was just like, literally just like thanking her for like posting what she does. And I was just like so appreciative of it because I was like, I don't think she like understands, like, at least for me, like how much these videos help me as far as like distracting me from the world we were currently in. And she responded to one of them, and I honestly like literally was like, oh my God, she noticed me. But yeah, I still watch her videos to this day and I love her. And yeah, she was like one of the many things that like helped me out of this rut that I was going through, especially like being pregnant and already feeling alone and isolated, while actually being alone and isolated was a lot. But you just gotta find little things during that time, and I think we all found our like thing to cope with it.
Yeah, I don't think that I ever got really depressed or to a point where I was like, I need to go back to school. I need to go back with my friends. I don't think I ever got to that point because I am such an introvert and I loved being home. But I do love to go out and to experience life and to do all these things. But I don't think it ever got to a point for me personally where I was like going insane, like, or getting depressed or feeling depressed in any sort of way. Yeah. I just think that it changed so much for me being able to be home and figure out what I wanted to do. Why do I feel like I'm about to cry?
No, literally, yeah. It was, I mean, it, like I said, it could have been a blessing in disguise. And, you know, obviously we didn't know where life was headed at that current time. And we all kind of like found our way eventually out. And I became a mom and could not like imagine my life without my girls. And I don't know. I don't know without COVID if I would have a baby or how things, like, it's so interesting to think like our lives could be a complete 180 from what it is currently without that.
Yeah, it's just like, it's crazy to think that like a year later I'd be moving to LA. And then like a few months after that, Cheyenne would be inviting me over.
And then a few months later, I'm like, do you want to be my baby's godmother? And she's like, what?
Yeah. I think we've definitely mentioned this before, maybe in like our first episode, but we used to live very close to each other when we were younger. So we were close, but then when she moved away, you know, things happened. So then when I moved back here, I think one of the main reasons that I wanted to move back to LA was because all of my family lives here and I wanted to reconnect with everyone, which I definitely have, maybe a little too much. But yeah, moving back here, like reconnecting with everyone, and you know, specifically like Cheyenne and her sister, like it was great. And it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for COVID and it wasn't for my finding my passion in fashion.
Wow. Wow, she's a Bratz doll,
Wow,
guys.
sorry. And then like moving to LA, like truly everything does happen for a reason. And for me, it definitely was like a blessing in disguise. Everything that happened. Yeah. Boom. Did the damn thing.
We didn't cry. Look at us growing
Almost
up.
did, but it's okay.
But it's fine. Yeah, I mean, it hit us differently. but it led us here, and now we have each other, and you know,
We have a podcast.
literal podcast. Yeah, I don't. I was gonna get cheesy, but I don't. We'll save it. We'll save it because we will both start crying. So I'm not gonna do it unless you want to cry. The next episode, we're probably gonna cry. We're good. Yeah, we'll save it for another episode.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Did you ever officially like get COVID?
No, I mean, I did, but it wasn't diagnosed as COVID.
Just that first time.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever got it again. To my knowledge, I don't know. I feel like every time that I did, you know, it's really hot in here. I was like, are you crying? Yeah, to my knowledge, every time that I did take like a test, it came back negative. But I don't know. Sometimes people didn't even have symptoms and were positive. But I mean, yeah, my kids never got it. Yeah, I mean, we were all very lucky. I mean, the only people that got it was me. I think my stepdad got it, my mom got it, and then my grandpa got it. So, you know how that story ends. So, but yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to only get it one time. I mean, it was miserable when I did get it. I thought I was on my literal deathbed. But yeah, I have not had it since, knock on wood.
Yeah, I don't remember when, but I did get it. I might have gotten it twice. Did I? That might be a lie. I might have only gotten it once. And I don't recall when. I literally don't remember when.
Yeah, I was scared to get the vaccine because I was like, I'm probably gonna get it again once I get, because literally, I swear, every time I get a vaccine, I immediately get whatever it is, flu, COVID. Like, I was just so scared. But luckily I didn't. I got like a slight little headache, but that's like pretty normal for me. So I struggle with migraines, so you know, I don't know how much I'm gonna put in there, but I have chronic stress disorder, so like my jaw tends to like lock when I'm stressed out, which leads to tension headaches, which leads to migraines. So I get them a lot. So it's unfortunate. So I was just like, this is probably just a me thing. I don't know if it's like the COVID shot.
Yeah, all I know is that I got it during the time when it was like embarrassing to get it. When it was like, it's been around for a while, why am I still getting COVID, you know?
Yeah, like that's still a thing.
Right? Like if someone were to get COVID right now, they'd be like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Like so I think it was like around that time where people were like, that's kind of embarrassing. You have COVID now, so that was that.
That's so last year, bro. That's so 2 years ago. 4 years ago, bro. What the fuck? I still think it's like 2022. What the hell?
That was so 2020.
That was so 2020.
But yeah, it's crazy that it's like still a thing. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like not mainstream anymore.
It's not cool anymore to get it. It's just not. You don't have to like isolate yourself for weeks on end. It's like 5 days, you're up. Let's go. You're fine. It's good.
Yeah. It's just like any other cold.
I think
at least now
they took out as many of us as they possibly could, and they're just like, all right, we're good. On to the next. We got them, boys.
I feel like one of the craziest parts of it was that there were like variants of it, and it was just like pow this, pow that.
They're like your Pokemon. They just kept building.
It was like, when does this stop?
I think truly the only time that I was like ever really scared of it was like when they would show the news and like there was nobody on the streets, and I'm like, why does this feel like a zombie apocalypse right now? Like,
yeah,
that was the only time I was like, this is spooky.
No, March 13th. Like if you were in school during March 13th, like of 2020.
No. I'll tell you a worse March date. March 25th, 2015. That was a spooky, scary day. Okay. March 13th, I'm good. I literally did not remember the day until you told me that. But March 25th will never be okay for me.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And if not, Google it. March 25th. That's all you have to put. March 25th, 2015. See what pops up. Let me see. I'm going to see if it pops up.
That's it. But like, the fact that everything so sorry. The way that everything just like the shelves were fucking empty.
Toilet paper, bro. We couldn't even wipe our ass.
Dude, my dad had to bring home like a roll of the school toilet paper. And you know that shit is ass. So it's like thin as hell, rough as hell.
So he's like the whole roll to even get anywhere.
Literally. So that was not fun. And I don't even think we used it because we ended up having
Oh no way. That's so funny. That's literally
it's
the
literally the
first
first
thing
thing that comes up.
Yeah, Google March 25th, 2015.
Yeah. If you know, you know. It's been 9 years, so I don't want to talk about it.
Shut the fuck up. No, it hasn't.
It has.
Nor.
Unfortunately, it has been 9
Oh
years.
my god, bro.
I think that's enough.
The first time I seen them was 11 years ago. Almost. This year will be 11 years I seen them for the first time. That's crazy.
10 years since I saw him.
No. Yeah, no, 11 years. Yeah, you're right. I'm right.
I said 10.
I'm right.
Are
Yeah.
you okay?
No, I'm not. We brought it up. I'm okay. Anyway.
Anyways, I think that's enough trauma for this episode.
Yeah, if you want to follow us on any of our social media, everything will be linked down below on the YouTube channel. If you want to follow us on our podcast social media, it is at Keeping It Chaotic Pod on everything, so make sure to check that out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.